So, Jackie, why was it that you saw the need to set up an organisation like Tom Harrison House?
I was working in a mainstream addiction treatment centre, and I noticed that a lot of men were dropping out of treatment in the early few weeks. And when we kind of tracked that back, we discovered a lot of them were veterans or reservists. And they told us that they didn't feel safe with civilians. There were a lot of trust issues, that they couldn't bond with people. So we thought there needs to be a different way in order to do this, and to do it that's in a more productive way for veterans.
Yeah, and obviously we know from the research that alcoholism is one of the most prevalent mental health problems among ex-forces. Do you think in many ways it's been neglected?
It absolutely has. It's become a taboo. It's become the real kind of Cinderella service, really. That's what we're doing. We see ourselves as quite a Cinderella project. It is taboo. I think everybody talks about PTSD and that's named everywhere. But in terms of alcoholism or addiction, in terms of veterans, it seems to be that there's a lot of blame and shame, and that means that it becomes a taboo subject and that it's never actually brought out into the open.
And obviously addiction can be a very difficult condition to treat. What is your approach at Tom Harrison House?
We're all about creating community. We're all about replicating what these men and women had in the armed forces. So they had camaraderie, they had a family, they had purpose, they had identity, and they had real clear functions. And that's what we're trying to replicate now. And it's working. We've got really, really good outcomes. So we know that it works. It's not so much the modality, but it's the way in which we do it. And so for us, it's about absolutely recreating a good, positive community for them.
And you've just been visiting the US, watching to see some of the techniques or approaches that are used over there. What kind of lessons did you bring back?
Well, for us, we saw that community feature in action completely. And we also saw that they use trauma-informed techniques. So we brought back a model called Seeking Safety. And we also brought back another model called Moral Recognition Therapy, which is a great kind of combination of things like 12-step cognitive therapy and also some experiential. So they are now getting a real mixed bag at Tom Harrison House, which allows them to pick and choose what really works for them. It's become quite individualised for them, and it works for them.
Well, we're almost running out of time with only 30 seconds left. I try to keep a very strict time limit. What's next for Tom Harrison House?
Well, on the 30th of September, Matthew, we've got a one-day summit. It's called Join Forces, and it's all about partnership work and how can organisations come together to help create community and really strategic and responsive, flexible approaches to addiction and alcoholism with veterans and reservists.
And I'll add some details of that at the end of this blog. Jacquie Johnston Lynch, thank you very much.
Thank you, Matthew.